Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's pour. Now tonight's pour is going to be a car themed one. This one is going to be a 47 Chevy Fleetliner, which I just did, but this one is a different color. It's yellow and it's also a Moon Eyes. So usually when I find a Moon Eyes car, I pick it up because I really don't know exactly what Moon Eyes are, but I see a lot of them and for some reason I just like them. They're usually yellow with the black and a little bit of white on there. So what I've done tonight already is I've mixed my paints and I've already got the color on the back, which we're going with a yellow background. And I used Artist Loft Metallic Lemon Yellow. Now, I've been doing a lot of solid backgrounds, but I kind of been getting into adding a little bit different colors to it to do a kind of a different one, like say this one. I haven't resined this one yet. It's not quite dry. It's a little wet right in there. But see how that's not just a solid background. So, and then I've got some others back there. So I'm just using black and white with this yellow. And so I just did a little different, and I added, I poured the yellow on there, and so I poured a little black in there, and then I spread it around with my palette knife. So it kind of has a neat look to it. So we'll see how it turns out. Kind of turned a little bit of it greenish a little bit, but that's all right. That's all right. So we'll see how it goes. If this doesn't work out for this particular car, I have a number of yellow cars up here. I have a nice Corvette one with the black stripes on it, so that might work. I have another yellow Camaro, 69 Camaro convertible, and I also have a 69 Dodge Charger that's yellow. So I got a number of, well, 3 yellow ones here that I could use for it if I don't like the way this Fleetliner looked, this Moon Eyes. Now, another thing with the Moon Eyes, I met a couple of guys working for this organization. First, I thought it was Toys for Tots. It's actually not. It was a different organization, but they help kids, and so they were they're auto guys too, and they love Moon Eyes. And so I told them I would. I've got their card somewhere here, but I don't have time to get it. But anyway, I'm going to donate at least one painting to them for their auction to raise money. And I'm going to do this Moon Eyes one for them. So if this doesn't really look real good with this Moon Eyes, I might do another one just with yellow and black and white coming out the back just to make it a little bit better. I thought about trying to see how the Moon Eyes, I thought about in the black, then try to make a couple of eyes with some white in the middle with the black pupils in that design. If I can, if it'll turn out all right, I don't know. This whole thing I decided at the very last second to add the black to it may have really messed it up. I don't know. Instead of coming back. And I hurt myself. You see that on my, right there? It's weird. I must have dropped some resin on the floor here. As you can see, I got some resin on this shirt. It's really, got my shirt in the resin. But I must have dropped some there, so it's really hard right there. And it's kind of got a lip. And last night I was using my squirt bottle and I forgot all about it. The cap flew off out of my fingers, like, and it went behind the table underneath up against the wall. And I finished my painting and resined a piece last night, and I totally spaced about having to crawl in there and get it. And then I saw the bottle tonight and I thought, oh no, I gotta get the cap. Well, I saw it down there. I put my hand down to, brace myself from the floor so I could lean in, and I right on that resin. Ooh, a little sore. Didn't break the skin, but it's, yeah. So anyway, so like I said, I've got everything ready to go. So all we got to do is adjust the camera and we can get going. All right, so this is what it looks like. So we're still going to do the black at the back and some white. I'm going to need some more white. some yellow left over in case I want to do another one. I like how that one did. Now that's kind of like the design. I had it was a little bit finer on the one I saved for myself that one time. So I don't want to mess with that. I think I'm gonna leave it there like that. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. All right, as you can see, this one has dried, and I did change the car that I want to go with. So it's the same car, it's a Moon Eyes, but it's black with yellow instead of the, where'd it go? Instead of the yellow and black, I'm going to go with this because I like the darker color on this since I mixed some black in there instead of the yellow. I think I'm going to do one that doesn't have this black in it, which a lot of this turned green as well, as you can see, but I think I'm all right with it. So it's a 10 by 20 canvas. I'm using 7 ounces of Pro Marine resin. I've got the back taped, and we'll get this one, all this stuff. I'll get as much resin out as I can because we're using 7 ounces, which is the amount you need for a 10 by 20 canvas. Now, you may ask, how do I know that? Well, I've done a lot of these, one thing. But the other thing is that I looked it up on Art Resin Calculator. So you type in, you go there and it has a calculator in it. Naturally, that's why it's called Art Resin Calculator. I think it's just Art Resin, but they have a calculator on there. But anyway, it's about all I use on that website is just the calculator. You can type in the size of your canvas and it will tell you how much resin you will need for that canvas. Now that is the total amount of resin. All right, so because resin comes in or at least the stuff I do, I don't know if there's any other kind out there, but it comes in a hardener, an epoxy kit. Now the one I buy, I get it on Amazon. It's a 2-gallon kit just because I use a lot of resin. It's a pretty reasonable price. I mean, it's expensive, but it's compared to resin, it's pretty reasonable. So it's about, well, it's gone up, but it's about 120, 30 bucks for a 2-gallon kit. Which I bought another brand on the recommendation of another vendor that uses a lot of resin. And it was at that time, the resin was only about 120 bucks. And the resin that I bought that they recommended was 180 bucks, something like that. So I don't, it's probably over 200 by now. That was a couple of years ago. And as always, we torch it, or if you prefer a heat gun, you can definitely use a heat gun. You just need some heat on it to pop those bubbles. And if that's what it does, then that's okay to do. Because that's what you want, is those bubbles popped out of there. And that gives it a more glass look. If you leave those bubbles in there, you will, when it dries, you'll actually be able to see those in the resin. And for me, that is not acceptable. I don't like to see those in there. Some of these might be awful small to the eye to be able to see, but I see them because I know they're there and I'm looking for them, so I want them out. So, because I try to have as few imperfections in it as I possibly can. But I do notice that on a lot of these canvases, the weight of the resin will sink sometimes the canvas. So then it pulls the resin in, flows in. So you'll have little few spots on the edges sometimes for where the resin is pulled away from the edges. I think I've just made my peace with it because I've tried to support the back of the canvas before, piece of cardboard, and you slide it in there to hold it up, and then you kind of can see, if you get it in the right light, once it's dried, you can actually see it, the line where the cardboard was, because it's hard to get it completely 100% in there without it pushing up at some point. So I've kind of just came to realize that that's what my canvases are going to have on them. And I haven't had any complaints from any of the customers about them. So. All right, so we're going to get this car in there. And I think I'm going to put it like right there. There we go. So we got that black coming out. And I think the black looks better on that than that yellow one would have. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. Did I make the right move by putting the right car on there? The black or the yellow? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button if you like it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.